At the beginning of COVID, we had a particular crisis, and that crisis was around congregate living settings, long-term care, the shelter system, etc. And it was an utter disaster, and it's a stain that will be on the province of Ontario and frankly all Canadian jurisdictions. And already there have been investigations launched. I understand that today a third-party review was launched. It was a humanitarian tragedy tied to COVID. The next tragedy will be the mass evictions that come when the moratorium on COVID-related evictions is lifted and when Bill 184 comes in place. The motion I moved referred to the staff's review of Bill 184. It's Appendix A to the report that we're dealing with, and I hope you all take a moment to look at it. It is a 15-page litany of the problems that exist with the Landlord-Tenant Tribunal and this legislation that would make it even worse. Councillor Wong-Tam mentioned in her questioning of staff that there are 6,000 pending evictions in the province of Ontario. A great many of those will be in Toronto or in the area surrounding Toronto. We also heard from shelter housing support staff earlier in the meeting that we are seeing a dramatic increase in the number of homeless people in the city of Toronto already. People leaving corrections, people from surrounding municipalities who come here because there's some hope, people who perhaps have been couch surfing, people who have already lost their tenure. If Bill 184 gets passed, that problem, that horrible problem, which we can see on our streets in the form of encampments and people sleeping rough on sidewalks, will balloon out of any proportion that we have ever experienced in the city of Toronto. It will be the second great humanitarian crisis caused by COVID. It is a unique problem that can be solved and must be solved. We know that the cold weather will be coming. We know that it is very likely that we are not over COVID yet, and there will be more cases of COVID. If we have an outbreak and cold weather and an overflowing shelter system and mass evictions all at the same time, which is very likely, we will see a much worse circumstance than what we saw in the initial months of COVID. We have a duty, an obligation of the people we represent to do everything we can. That appendix refers to the relationship in the Landlord-Tenant Tribunal as unbalanced and unfair. It points out that over 60% of the tenants who get notices either don't appear or appear without any legal support. Landlords, however, almost always appear with legal support. Bill 184 puts new onerous rules on tenants who are fighting to keep their home that they will not be able to deal with without legal support. And remember, this is a provincial government that has also cut legal aid funding. This is one of the most important moments when the City of Toronto can stand up for the people we represent, the tenants that we represent, and say, we will not allow this crisis to happen. Imagine if a year ago, you had been given the opportunity to fix the seniors' care in Toronto so we didn't have outbreaks. This is that moment for tenants.
Thank you, Councillor Perks.
Please support my motion.